Hey guys, what's going on? So, a lot of people have asked about it, and I'm finally going to do it. So, I'm going to do a whole series on automation for the iPad. I know a lot of you have been asking about the workflow app, and I think automation on the iPad is so much bigger than just the workflow app, but the workflow app does have a big part in it. So, we're going to do a whole series on automation for the iPad. We're going to start with the workflow app because I agree. I think it's an interesting place to start. I think it's an important place to start. But we're also going to talk about web-based automation and a bunch of other stuff that I'm really excited to talk about. So this first video is going to be kind of an introduction to automation and an introduction to workflow. So if you're an advanced or immediate workflow user, this video may not be for you, but I may bring up some interesting points about automation. So let's kind of get into it a little bit. I am going to move slowly through these videos. So there's going to be a series of videos on automation for workflow, and I'm going to move pretty slowly through them. Because for those that haven't used workflow before or haven't done automation before, it can be really overwhelming. I know for me, when I downloaded the app for the very first time, I probably deleted it after 20 minutes just because it was way too overwhelming right when it first came out. This is also going to be a series I put down and pick up throughout the time. I have a bunch of other videos planned around this, so if automation and workflow isn't really your thing, don't worry. I'm going to have plenty of other videos. It's not going to be a long stretch of just automation videos. I'm going to kind of intercut it with a bunch of other stuff I have coming up. So first off, why is automation important? Automation is all about working smarter and not harder. I know everyone says that phrase, and I think it's kind of lost its charm over time, but I think it's really true in this case. Automation is about working smarter. So I think the best place to start is by asking yourself what can be automated. And I think by that is what's a task or something you do every single day that has an A, B, C, D point that you can put into an app or put into, really it could be something else, but in this case we're talking about workflow. So put into the workflow app, you hit a button and it takes care of itself. For me personally, I think my favorite workflow thing that I've done is now when I do videos or when I post a video, I run a workflow, it pulls my latest video, it posts it to two Twitter accounts and makes a blog post. So that one's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about that one. For those that don't know, let's cover what is workflow. Workflow is an app that's about getting inputs and bringing something as an output. And what does that mean? So you can get input of text, data, photos, so much more, and you modify it somehow, and there's an output. And that's automation. As you start with something, it goes through multiple steps of just all sorts of different stuff, maybe changing a file or moving something around or sharing something, and then there's an output or a completed status. And that's what automation is. That's what workflow does. When you first launch workflow, it has a very simple layout. It has all of the automation tasks right in front of you, and you can just double tap on them to run one. So we'll double tap this new quick note one. What it'll do is it'll go through and it'll ask me for what I want to put on the note. So I can call this just test note for video. And what that'll do is it'll create a note. I can click save, and then it'll give me a quick look of that note. So now I know what that note looks like. So that's just a really simple workflow right there. And that's just basically how you launch one from the get-go. The other thing in the workflow app that I want to point out is up in this top part right here. Right now we're in the My Workflow section, but you can hit Gallery. And these are all the workflows people have made and shared out. The workflow team did a really good job of organizing them and did a really nice editorial run through of these. This is how I learned to use workflow. I would take these workflows, so let's look at this laundry timer one, and I would go through and I would edit it for what I need. So I know for me personally, my washing machine always takes an hour. So instead of having it ask for input, I could just tell it to do 1 hour. So I highly recommend for those that are learning workflow for the first time, go through this gallery section and kind of play with some workflows that you see here that might interest you and tweak them to fit your specific needs. What we're going to do right now is we're going to build our first workflow for those that haven't done that already. So we're going to hit this plus button right here. And this is what it'll look like when you build a workflow. right up here at the top, it'll ask what type of workflow do you want to build. We're just going to build a normal one right now, but what you can do is you can build stuff that's built for the Today widget, an Apple Watch, or even an extension. And the stuff on the side will adjust to that accordingly. So we're going to turn off this. We're just going to do a normal one. And what we're going to do is we're going to build a workflow that gets a zip file, unextracts it, and then asks us where to save it. So first off, we have to tell it to get file. So we'll come over here to the search bar and we'll type in get file. We'll bring that down here and it'll ask us what service we want to use. We're going to use Dropbox for this. And then what it'll do is it'll ask us, do we want to show the document picker? That means what it'll do is it'll bring up our Dropbox folder and we can go through there and pick the file we want. So we want to leave that. We can have select multiple. We're going to leave that off, and you can set initial paths. So if you know you have something that's always in a certain folder, you can just have it go right there. So it'll bring that up right away. So now that we have the applet to get the file, we need the applet to extract the file. So we're going to come over here and we're going to type in extract archive. So that'll take the zip file and open it up and take out the files, but now we need to have a place to save them. So we're going to come over here again and type in save file. So here it is. We're again going to pick Dropbox. So what we can do now is if you hit done right here, or you can actually, if you come in here to the gear, you can hit name, and we'll call this unzip with Dropbox. Oops, probably would help if I could spell that. So that's it. You can also come in here and change the icon if you want. You can make it a glyph, or you can add it to the home screen, whatever. So this is good for us right now. So I'm gonna hit done. And what we can do, we could normally just hit this play button for if we want to run it, but I'm just going to hit done, and we're going to double tap this. So it goes through, it has our Dropbox deal. I'm going to hit application because I believe that's where the zip folder is. Yep, right here. So I have a workflow backup. So I'm going to hit that. It'll go through. It'll ask us where we want to save it. I'm going to save it again to the same applications folder. It'll say save here. And it'll take a minute to extract it. It is a fairly large file, if I remember correctly. But really, this is it. This is your first workflow. It's super simple. There's not much to it, but that's what I want to start with. I want to start off with something simple. It says unsupported preview type just because it's not a typical image, so that's fine. If you had photos or something in here down at the bottom, it would show the photos, and it's kind of a cool feature. But that's it, guys. So to sum up, that's a very basic workflow, and there's so much more you can do with it. I know that's a very simple thing, but I wanted to start off really easy for this first video, just to kind of explain what automation is for those that don't know, show what the workflow app looks like, and kind of get a very basic thing done. In the next video, I want to cover variables and apps that you can pass data in between. So keep an eye out for that. I'm really looking forward to this series. If you guys have any questions or any suggestions or something about automation, leave them in the comments below. I'd love to discuss it with you guys. If you're looking forward to these videos, make sure you subscribe, like, so other people can see them. I really appreciate it, guys. Have a great day.